Good afternoon and welcome to OmniBros Live, Best of and Worst of 2018 show. I'm Omnidog from Omnidog's Vault, and I'm joined by my partner, Gabe the Babe. Gabe, how's it going?
I'm doing good, man. Good morning to you. Good morning to everybody else. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
This is going to be that episode where people are going to hate everything we say or agree with everything we say. So this is always super fun. It's going to be a lot of, I guarantee it's going to be a lot of me just going, I haven't seen that. I don't know what you're talking about. Sounds cool though.
That's probably right. And Luis will be joining us. You can see him down there. He'll be joining us in a second. And we've already got Lamework saying Into the Spider-Verse is the best movie of 2018.
Like I said, Jess, you need to go. We'll just cut this episode like very short, like maybe like 2 more minutes, and then you need to go see it.
I need to go see it, huh?
It's just fun. It's really, really fun. Well, Luis and I will get into it more, but it is really a good time. Lots of cool like comic book like Easter eggs and like callbacks and little things in the background that you wouldn't know. Like it's fun. It's a good.
Speaking of comic books,
yeah, we're live, son.
I know.
Hey, speaking of comic books, InStockTrades.com has all your collected editions for up to 50% off. Loyalty discounts add 2% to that. They're having a Marvel and DC sale this weekend.
What?
3% to that. Yeah.
No.
Every quarter, there's an Omniboslive discount code. Order $50 or more in an order, and you get free shipping in the United States. Fabulous service, fabulous packaging. That's InStockTrades.com.
Jess, how do they do it?
I don't know.
Dude, they should just charge you for their shipping. Like just because of how great it is. I mean, like packing wise and just their customer service wise, like I have no problem paying.
They cut out the middleman. I don't know how they do it, guys.
They must be like a mafia or something. They must have some kind of
the comic book mafia.
They must have some kind of like racket going on or something, man. Those guys got it down to freaking science, dude.
Gabe is just kidding. He doesn't think they're part of the mafia.
No, they're their own cartel.
Yeah, they're a comic book cartel.
Exactly.
That's the only way to describe it. No, they're great. I got a couple packages from them this week, and I don't know that I asked Emily if I was on the preferred customer list or something. I'll admit that I thought I was getting preferred treatment because my orders were getting to me so fast. And I said, I'm not upgrading. How is this possible? And she said, I'm not on the preferred list. That I was a douche for thinking I was. No, she didn't say that. But that sometimes it just works out. The regular media mail works out faster than upgrading, because I never upgrade because I've already got a ton of stuff, so I never bother upgrading. But man, my stuff is coming to me really fast. So that might be a tip for you out there who are complaining about your orders. Maybe just do it regular mail, don't upgrade, and see if it gets to you faster.
Well, I think most of the time when people are getting these delayed orders shipped out is because they order new stuff and old stuff.
Yeah.
Ryley mentioned it last week. Insider tip: if you want something quicker, this is just an assumption. It's easier if you just place an order for the new stuff and then do maybe a separate order for the older stuff.
Yeah.
That way you get your new stuff right away. Because I know it when I was buying heavily from IST, I would place my order in on Tuesday right around 3 o'clock is usually when they update their stuff, my time. And by that afternoon, it was already picked and shipped because it was newer stuff.
And the older stuff they don't always have in stock. I mean, they're basically a comic book store, so I understand that that relation there, where they can't keep everything that Diamond has on their racks and in their shelves and in their warehouse. They can only keep what they can move, but it's available to order. So it's the same as if you go to a comic book store and say, "Hey, do you guys have Batman Damned #2?" And they go, "Nope, sold out, but I can get you more." But it will take a week or two because Diamond is pretty, it takes them about a week or two to get through their invoices. So that's usually why things like this happen, where it gets delayed. I mean, I don't know, but again, like Louis said, this is assumption, and this is just how I can relate to it, because I relate with this on a daily basis in the comic book store. It's just they order it, and then you gotta wait for it to come in. but it's worth it because you get a super good deal. You get a great discount. You get great packaging, and you get the book you want. You don't have to worry about and they care. That's really when it comes down to it. That's why their packaging is so good because they care. Other people don't care. I'm not going to name names, but there's other .coms out there that just throw it in a bubble wrapped envelope and that's it.
Yeah,
You know?
that's right. You're right. Emily and company take their jobs really seriously and want everybody to be happy. So
the same as you buy something off of eBay. You get a seller who cares. They'll pack it up nice and tight. You get somebody who, not that they don't care, but maybe they just don't know or they're not aware. They're not experts at shipping out omnibuses and trades, and they just throw it in the cheapest envelope they can find, and it comes back. It comes to you just destroyed. There's experience and there's caring, and then there's just inexperience and not caring.
Yeah,
exactly.
So speaking of caring and not caring, that was a
really long IST commercial right there.
Yeah. Those of you out there who care about our choices for best movies and worst movies, TV shows, and video games, this is the show for you. Those of you who don't care about our opinion, this is not the show for you because you're getting a handful of opinions from us. This is what we think was the best and worst of 2018, and I will start off by saying that I'm probably going to have to wait until after Luis does his, because I think you see a lot more. I know you see a lot more stuff than I do. I tend to read more and don't watch as much stuff. You're more of a student of film and TV than I am. So I'm probably going to have to listen to what you say, and then I'll go, yeah, I agree with that or something, because I don't even think I went to that many movies. I saw movies in my house, but they weren't 2018 movies. I mean, I just saw Castle in the Sky, which was from 1995 or whenever it was. So that's the latest movie I saw.
I'm sorry. Keep going.
No, go ahead.
No. It's totally going to be a little bit off topic of the main show, what I was going to say, but keep going. I'm sorry.
It's pretty much done, really.
Oh, okay. I actually, before we get started, I kind of wanted to bring up, did you guys see TKO Comics or whatever it is, that new brand that's coming out?
Oh, where they're releasing everything, like floppies and trades?
Yeah. What do you guys think about that before we get into like the main meat of the show? I wanted to bring it up because it is kind of interesting because that pertains a lot to us.
Yeah, that's a good point. Where I just saw what was posted on the group, so I didn't really see.
Yeah.
Is that going to be available just through them, or is it through retailers too?
Gabe would probably know more about that than I would, as far as like retailers and stuff like that. For those of you that don't know, okay, so TKO Comics is basically this new publishing line, and their bit is that you are getting all 5 issues. It's kind of like binge watching. You're getting all 5 issues of a comic series. You're basically getting the trade right off the bat. And they have different formats. They have a way where you can order it and you get all 5 issues like in a box set right off the bat. They have hardcovers, or is it trades? One of the two, right off the bat. So basically you're buying a graphic novel without really getting the single issues, or you can get the single issues all at once. It's an interesting way of doing things. They're obviously kind of taking it after the Netflix binge model. I love this. They've even got Ennis. They've got quite a few good writers and artists on tap. They got Ennis on. It's really, really interesting, and I am looking forward to see how the market reacts to this, because this is the first time that that somebody's tried this. And I have thought for years, why not just release graphic novels? Why not go this route?
I'm trying to find more information on it on the internet, and
I think it's called TKO Comics.
TKO Studios.
Studios, that's what it is.
Yeah. New publisher TKO Studios is shaking up the way they sell comics, and you read their first issues now for free. So they're releasing their first issue. 3 formats are full 6-issue set in a collector's box, Trade paperback and digital download to read on desktop, tablet, or mobile devices. Each book is printed in deluxe oversized format. Prints everything in the USA for interested readers who want to dive in immediately. The publisher is offering every first issue for free via their website. First wave of TKO Studios books is currently available for purchase per their thread. They are interested in working with local comic book stores. Okay, so retailers who want to work with them are encouraged to reach out to them.
So they're not going through Diamond then, is what that means.
This seems like a self-publishing gig.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Self-distribution, yeah.
But you're right. They've got some pretty big names. Specifically, Garth Ennis and, let's see.
I think David Mack is one of them? Maybe I'm wrong on that.
Let's see. Elizabeth Brettweiser. She's the colorist, I believe, for a book I'm reading right now, Kill or Be Killed. Steve Epting, Jeff Lemire.
I love Kill or Be Killed. That's going on my best of for comics.
I think so too, yeah. I finally got all 4 volumes of it, and I started diving in yesterday. I want to finish it today. Yeah, it's really good. TKO miniseries all at once rather than on a weekly or monthly basis. So yeah, they've got some big names, and I like the idea. Of course, since I'm a trade collector, I sure like the idea of trade paperbacks just being released. DC officially cancels Border Town following allegations against writer. Riley Moore was bummed out about this.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Because he said Border Town was really good.
Yeah, but apparently the writer's a real asshat.
Yeah.
Yeah, now DC is allowing retailers to return all their copies of Border Town.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, they're like, yeah, just give it all back. It's kind of like what they did. Image did recently with Dead Rabbit.
I've never even heard of it.
You heard Dead Rabbit? It's Eric Powell. There's only like 2 issues that came out. It's nowhere near as bad as what's going on with this situation. Eric Powell, apparently something happened where he was using copyrighted material from a restaurant, like the menu and like the name of the restaurant, the name of his book or something like that. Like a lot of really someone just didn't do their due diligence.
No, that's not too bad.
Cleared. So they got hit with this. I don't know if it was a cease and desist or a suit or whatever. But yeah, all those books got pulped and it blew up. Like those books are pretty pricey right now. It's not going to happen in Border Town because this is a bad situation. There's a lot of a negative energy around it being pulped. But Dead Rabbit, it blew up.
Oh, dude, you got me nervous for a second. I'm like, oh, don't tell me Eric Powell cut a hashtag.
Yeah.
Caught a hashtag. That's a new one, dude. I like that. That's great.
Yeah.
Because I love Eric Powell, man, and I love the Goon. I got nervous for a minute. I'm like, oh, don't tell me that.
You know what? I have the first library edition of Goon, and I think it's still in the wrap. I've never even opened it. I like. Can I say it on the air?
Satan's.
Satan's.
What, Satan's sodomy baby? Yeah, Satan's sodomy baby. I love that. That's just bad visceral envelope pushing nonsense fun. So yeah, I can see where you could think that guy caught, quote unquote, caught a hashtag because some of his stuff can push the envelope.
Yeah, like
it's on the razor edge of decency sometimes.
Like if it happened, I'd be really pissed because I like Powell stuff, but at the same time, I'd be like, yeah, I can maybe see it.
Yeah, but I can see that being more in his work than in his personal life. Like I don't know the guy personally. I never met the cat, so I don't know how he is in person. But if he was to do anything quote unquote controversial, it would be story wise as opposed to like, he did something indecent.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. Best of the year.
Are we starting with the best or are we starting with the worst?
Well, I've got it down by category. I've got movies, TV, and video games. That's what we're covering. So, okay. Jess,
Venom.
What do you want first? I'll let you pick the first category.
Venom is the best and worst movie of 2018.
I guess we're going with the best for movies first. I'm gonna warn you guys. I could not just do 5 because I've seen way too much fucking shit this year.
Yeah.
I've got it down to 10, but I'm gonna speed through the top. I'm gonna speed through 10 through 6 because I've covered most of these throughout the year, so I'm not gonna dive into too much of it. But Jess, I'm interested to hear yours first before I go into it. And my cats are fighting right now.
Well, I got to think if I even saw 10 movies this year.
You do 5. I just did 10 because I couldn't narrow it down to 5.
Well, let's see. I like Deadpool. What I saw was mostly.
I'm sorry. You mean are we narrowing this down to what was released in 2018 or what we saw in 2018? Like, how's this being cut?
Released has to be this.
Okay, perfect. Just making sure. It had to have been released in 2018.
Okay.
Not like, I finally saw Gone with the Wind.
I still have never seen Gone with the Wind.
I haven't either.
Funny. Well, let's see. I don't think I went to see many movies. Was Spider-Man Homecoming this year? Yeah.
No.
It wasn't?
That was last year.
Yeah.
This is how bad I am. It was last year? Okay. I thought it was this year.
No.
It's already been on Blu-ray for a hot minute.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's see. I liked Avengers 4. What is that? Infinity War. I liked Deadpool. I did like Venom, but not as much as I liked the other two. Let's see. Deadpool. I swear I only went to see superhero stuff. I don't think I went to see a normal, regular old movie in the movie theaters. My wife and I usually wait till they're released, and then we watch them at home, but I don't think we watched anything at home. I'm a sucky person when it comes to movies and life in general. I suck. What other movies got released? I'm trying to think.
I've got quite a few.
I'll throw a link to what was released in 2018 in our chat. And you can probably just scroll through it and just be like, oh, this and this and this and this.
While you get that together, I'll go ahead and
yeah, go ahead.
My list. All right, so coming in at number 10, this goes simultaneously like Venom for you as my worst of and best of at the same time, and I'm pretty sure you guys can guess what it is.
It's probably gonna be the same thing I have in that same category.
The worst and best of, yeah.
Yes.
Predator.
Mm-hmm.
Predator is the worst, best movie I have seen this year, and like Ryan said, it's an abomination unto God, according to him. I dug the hell out of this. This was fun as hell for me. It's horrible. It's not a good film by any stretch of the imagination, but it's Shane Black. And Shane Black pretty much just gets a pass for me because I love Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. I love Lethal Weapon. I love all those films that he's worked on. I really dug this. I thought it was a lot of fun. And if you're looking for something that you could just grab a beer with a few friends or anything else and just enjoy it and have a good night and just laugh at it, it's a blast all the way through. But it is not a good film by any stretch of the imagination. Coming in at number 9 for me, it's going to be Mandy. Nicolas Cage, man, he's been having a hell of a year. He is on the come up. He's on the comeback. He was in Teen Titans Go to the movies. He played Superman in that. He's in Into the Spider-Verse, and he had Mandy released this year. Mandy is a throwback film in the most weird and possible 1970s psychedelic horror film aspect way. I absolutely dug the hell out of this. It's really slow the first hour, but it picks up in the second hour, and you get pretty much everything that you wanted to get in those trailers. It's bloody, it's gory, it's over the top, it's crazy, and it is Nicolas Cage uncaged. So if you like uncaged Cage, that is absolutely up your wheelhouse. I love the hell out of Mandy. It's so good. Number 8, A Quiet Place. I have not been that tense in a movie in a long time. I dug the hell out of A Quiet Place. Krasinski's directorial debut, and what a hell of a directorial debut. It's the closest thing we're probably going to get for a while to a Last of Us movie. I couldn't get enough of this. I've seen this movie probably 3 or 4 times already since I've had the 4K. And it's going up there as one of my favorite horror films slash thriller films of the year. Very, very well done. Number 7, we talked about this one last week really quick. The Night Comes for Us, that martial arts film that we talked about last week.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic choreography. Amazing martial arts choreography, and it's actually better for me than the Raid films. Timo is one of those directors that he's on the come up right now, and he should be definitely being eyed for somebody to do maybe a Marvel film or something like that. He'd have to tone down his style, obviously, but he's my top choice to do the announced Shang-Chi film, just because he works so well with martial arts and choreography and things. He is like Gareth Edwards or Gareth Evans, the one that did the Raid. He's my second choice, but Timo is such a fucking great director, and the fact that he put out not one but 2 films in the span of this year is just impressive. Number 6.
The other film that he put out.
It's a horror film, and I keep forgetting the name of the horror film.
Oh.
It's the one about the Exorcist, the Exorcism movie. It's a small little indie film that he filmed it in between doing post-production with The Night Comes for Us, which is just insane. Number 6 goes to Summer of '84. This was actually one of my favorite, one of my original top 5 choices, but it got pushed out because I saw a few films this weekend. Summer of '84 is a throwback film in the best way possible. It takes place in, as you would imagine, the year 1984. And if you're somebody who's kind of getting tired of like the 1980s aesthetic that everybody seems to be kind of doing lately with Stranger Things, and so many other TV shows and things like that they're all kind of just prying on that nostalgia. Summer of '84 is a good little indie film that focuses on a group of kids that they discover that there is a serial killer in their town. And they think that the serial killer is actually the cop that lives in their neighborhood. And they go around trying to figure out if it is or if it isn't. It throws a lot of red herrings at you, and it has one of the most fucked up endings that I've seen in a long time. And it's very unforgiving. It's very unflinching. It's a great horror/thriller film. If you saw, what was the name of that Shia LaBeouf film? There was a remake of another film that was a few years ago where
was it the one he stole from Daniel Klaus?
Where he's trapped in his house, and he's got the leg.
Suburbia.
Yeah, if you saw Suburbia, it's very much in the same vein of that, only a lot better. This is definitely one that I recommend you guys check out tonight. It's on a shoestring budget. Almost nobody saw it, but it's so fucking good.
I can't watch it tonight. The Rams are on tonight.
When you get a chance, Jess.
Because you're going to be too busy watching Spider-Verse tonight.
Right. Disturbia, they're saying. The chat's saying Disturbia.
So yeah, Summer of '84 is definitely one you guys should check out. Number 5 goes to Upgrade. I love Upgrade.
To see that.
If you saw Venom and you were disappointed in Venom like I was, yeah. If you were disappointed in Venom like I was, Upgrade is everything Venom should be. It's a great sci-fi / body horror movie. I recommend you guys check this one out. I love Upgrade. I'm not going to spoil too much about it because I think that it's better if you go in cold, not knowing as much as not knowing that much. And the ending is one of those endings where it is, unlike Summer of '84, very unforgiving, and it's just left me going, fuck.
This is Upgrade still?
Yeah, it's such a good movie. It's very unforgiving at the end. It reminds me kind of. Have you guys ever read Sleeper by Brubaker?
Yeah, Brubaker and Phillips.
Yeah, it reminds me of something like that, where the ending is the protagonist is left in a state that you're like, oh my god. It's very unforgiving. Number 4, Hereditary.
Oh, I need to see that.
Okay. Hereditary for me is the best horror film I have seen this year. And I've seen a lot of horror this year. Hereditary it fucked me up in a way that I walked out of the theater and I messaged Matt and I was like, it was okay and everything, but it is a horror film that has lingered with me throughout the entire year. I keep thinking about it every once in a while, and it's got some scenes in it that are burned in the back of my head. I loved Hereditary, And the longer that I thought about it, the more that it stayed with me. This is a film that I highly recommend to anybody that is into kind of like the exorcism types films with like spirits and things like that. It's very, very good. Easily my favorite horror film this year. Number 3. Here's where I posted my list a few weeks ago on Facebook. So if you've been following me from there, this is where things change drastically because I've seen a lot of films in the past few weeks. Number 3 goes to Mission Impossible Fallout. Tom Cruise is fucking crazy. Tom Cruise is batshit nuts, but you know what? I would not change a thing about Tom Cruise. The stunts in Mission Impossible Fallout are insane. And the fact that Tom Cruise did all of them as well is just even more impressive. Mm-hmm. The story here is pretty light. It's not that crazy or impressive, but it's more you're watching Tom Cruise do batshit crazy things. I love this. I loved Mission Impossible Fallout. It's probably my favorite of the series, just slightly above Ghost Protocol. It's great. I can't say anything more about it. Number 2, this one really hit home, and it should come with kind of a label, a warning with it. But A Star Is Born. I saw this last night. The Bradley Cooper Lady Gaga movie, where it's a remake of a remake of a remake. This is actually the 4th time this movie's been done. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful film, and it's Bradley Cooper's directorial debut. A Star Is Born centers around a musician who he is an alcoholic, a heavy alcoholic, and his career is kind of on a downward spiral when he meets a young girl in this drag bar, and he finds out she has an amazing voice, who is played by Lady Gaga. He then puts her up, and you see her star rising while his is coming down. It's a beautiful love story. I recommend it that you check it out, but it is very, very depressing at the ending. It's very, very true to life. It deals with some themes that are very personal to me, and the ending shook me really hard. And I will say that if you are somebody that has had a problem with substance abuse or alcohol or anything like that, it'll hit a lot more home. If you're somebody that's dealt with depression, if you're somebody that's dealt with suicide, this will hit very close to home, and you may want to kind of steer away a little bit from it. But if you can handle that stuff, it's a must-see film. It's fantastic, and the music in it is incredible. Let me tell you something. God gave Bradley Cooper too much talent.
And made him handsome, goddamn.
And made him. I hate this motherfucker. I hate this guy because it's not enough for God to say you are pretty, you're a great actor, but let's throw in the fact that you are also a great director and you can sing your ass off.
God, that sucks.
It's way too much talent for one person to have.
Totally agree.
But his music in it is fantastic, and he sings the hell out of it. And he actually, what's interesting is he filmed this in between sets at a Willie Nelson concert. So like all the scenes that you see where he's in front of people, those are real people that he was filming in front of.
And he's actually doing the singing in front of real people.
He was actually doing the singing in front of real people.
Huh. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it was like the one of the guys that he worked on the film was actually Willie Nelson's son, which got him in contact with Willie Nelson. So what he would do is that he would go between sets at like Willie Nelson shows, and he would sing in front of people, and they would record what was going on.
So he would go and film this in front of a Willie Nelson concert.
Yeah, in between sets.
Base?
Was everybody just high as fuck or what?
Fans.
Huh? He would do it in between sets in front of like Willie Nelson, like actual concert people. And the fucker can sing. Like he sings really well.
So that could have gone horribly wrong for him if the whole crowd just started booing him or something, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a big risk to take. Although I guess you could edit out the crowd booing and edit in crowd cheering. But I mean, they could have thrown stuff at him if he didn't do a good job. That's a really interesting tidbit.
Yeah. he learned to play the guitar and learned to sing properly over a year and a half. And he had Gaga on set with him, which she was kind of helping him like with his singing and coaching him through it. And he was coaching her at the same time with her, her acting. So they worked off of each other really well. The chemistry here between the two is lightning in a bottle. Like these two, it's incredible how well they get along with each other in the film, and you see it. So
my wife has seen it twice already.
It's
What
worth
was the name
seeing.
of this movie again?
A Star Is Born.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, your wife. She
She wants to see it. She wants to go see it really bad.
Dude,
she's probably gonna go see it by herself.
No, I think you will enjoy it. It's really good.
I'll go see Venom again. Because that was released the same week. I think Venom destroyed that film in the box office. Not that that holds any merit on how well or good something is made, but yeah, it destroyed it in the box office.
I think it did destroy it in the box office.
I think it still did pretty well in the box office.
It's still in theaters. Like I looked it up yesterday and it was still in theaters. But I absolutely think you guys deserve to see this. It's fantastic, and all the praise that it's been getting, and the award seasons are coming up pretty soon. It's gonna clean out. I would not be surprised if Gaga and Cooper get Best Original Song or whatever it is, because the song "Shallow" is beautiful. It's absolutely a beautiful song. The whole soundtrack is great. And I hate Bradley Cooper. All right.
Yep.
My number one pick, and I saw this the other day. It's Spider-Verse.
Yeah, everybody in the chat agrees with you.
Spider-Verse. Spider-Verse is my number one pick. It's the best animated film I've seen. It's probably my favorite animated film since The Iron Giant. I love Spider-Verse. I don't have a single thing to complain about this film. The pacing, the story, the animation, every single thing about this film to me is perfect. I shed a tear in this thing probably like 3 times. It shouldn't be any spoiler at this point, but it's got the cameo in this with Stan Lee is so fucking powerful because of the context that he just died. It's fantastic. Go see Spider-Verse. Go support this film. Being somebody who is Puerto Rican, seeing that they do embrace Latin culture, that they do embrace Brooklyn culture, that they do embrace hip hop, tagging, all that stuff. They nail everything about it. What I like about this so much is that if you've ever been to New York, if you've ever been to one of the boroughs, if you've ever been to Brooklyn, the streets are crowded with people. There's always things going on in the background. There's always people interacting. And a lot of times when you see films and when you see animated movies, everything is empty in New York. Like, it doesn't feel like it's actually New York. It feels like New York. You feel like you're there. The animation in it is stellar. The art style, I heard people complaining about the art style and how it's choppy. Those are deliberate choices because it nails a comic book feel. From the very opening credits, it feels like a comic book, and it's very deliberate, and they make it very deliberate from the first second the film starts.
Even before the actual film starts. It's great how they do it.
So you saw it?
Yeah, I saw it last night. Yeah, so I know
cool.
exactly what you're saying.
Okay, cool. So, like, the first thing that pops up that you see, I don't want to spoil it for anybody that's there. It gives it away. This is supposed to be a comic book. Do you know what I'm talking about, Gabe?
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, is it a spoiler? If you're a comic fan, you'll get it, and you'll get a chuckle out of it for sure.
Yeah.
But you're right. The way they embrace the tagging element, the art. I think that's the reason why the art is so choppy and odd. Is because I think it's supposed to feel like tagging as well, a little bit. It's a little disjarring sometimes because there's a lot of times things are just out of focus. And you don't know why it's out of focus, but it's really, I think it's because of the hip hop nature. This is basically a Miles Morales movie. I'll get more into it because this is definitely gonna be on my list. But the choice for the animation style is 1,000,000% deliberate, and it's because I think hip hop culture, the tagging elements, that kind of stuff in it as well, and the comic books, of course.
Yeah, and they absolutely nail Miles's relationships with his parents, and there are quite a few scenes in the movie where you're seeing his relationship with his father. There's one particular scene where he's talking to his father through a door. that it broke almost everybody in the theater. It's a film where you can go from laughing 1 second to almost crying the next second, and it's so incredible how well done they did it. And there's so many little nods and there's so many little Easter eggs that I'm gonna go back and watch it again just because I know I missed a lot of stuff. Like there's a lot of Easter eggs in this, and they're easy to miss. And it's not a thing where they linger on it or anything like that. It's if you're a comic book fan, you're gonna go, "Oh crap! Like that was a nice little Easter egg," and it just keeps going. Like, did you see the names in the phone?
I didn't want to say anything, but yeah, if you haven't seen this movie yet, every time they pulled out their phone, pay attention to the contacts in the phone.
Yeah. All the side characters are great. I loved Spider-Man Noir, again done by Nicolas Cage. He nails it. It's great.
He's Spider-Man Noir.
Cage?
Yeah, Nicolas Cage
cool.
is Spider-Man Noir. He nails that. Spider-Ham is great. All the side characters are great as well. And what I like about this is that they give little moments to the villains. All the villains have
so cool.
Yeah, all the villains have a reason as to why they are who they are. Including one that I absolutely did not see coming. That threw me off guard, and I was like, "Oh, cool! That's this."
This is the one they never named in the movie.
Yeah. But if you've got kids, and if you don't have kids, this is absolutely the best film of the year for me, and you guys owe it to yourself. I'm probably gonna go again tonight to go see it, and I'm probably gonna go again after that to go see it because I can't get enough of this, and I want to support this.
It sounds like I better see it.
You should. You absolutely should, Jess. You would love it.
I wonder if I can get my movie buddy to see it with me.
Okay. I don't know
Okay.
what you wouldn't want, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. We saw the trailer for it. What did we see at the end of? Venom?
Yeah, it was a. Oh, and stay for the after the credits scene.
Yeah, all the way to the end. Yeah.
Do you know who that was? Like the voice of after the credits?
No, I didn't know who the voice was. No.
That was Oscar Isaac.
Who's Oscar Isaac?
No, the guy that played Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm glad he's getting better gigs.
Yeah, me too. So that's it for my film. Oh, actual worst of goes to Venom.
Oh,
are we gonna do our best and worst at the same time, or
go ahead and do whatever you want.
Okay.
I'm not doing like a whole list of worst stuff or anything like that. Most disappointing for me was Roma. I saw it this morning. Just did nothing for me. So that's my list for movies.
What's Roma about?
It's Alfonso Cuarón, who directed Children of Men, Gravity, and he's incredible. He's a brilliant visionary director. Yeah. But Roma centers around a maid in 1970s Mexico, and it follows her around. It's based on Cuarón's life. It follows her around for like a period of time. It's a slice of life story. It's beautifully shot. It's in black and white, and the cinematography is gorgeous, but it just didn't do anything for me. I felt it was kind of boring, but that's just me. So,
okay. Is David Codd saying Oscar Isaac was Poe Dameron?
Yeah.
Okay, David. Thank you. Now I know who you're talking about.
So anybody else want to go for movies?
Yeah, I'll go up. So it's just this is no ranking to this whatsoever. These are just movies that I just kind of jumbled a list together. I'm not trying to say one is better than the other or worse than the other. I'm not trying to rate anything, but these are just some of the movies that really were great for me this year. First off, it's a documentary called 3 Identical Strangers. Did anybody see this?
No, I never heard of this.
Dude, this movie it's a documentary and it will fuck you up. It's about the title of the movie is 3 Identical Strangers. So it's about triplets who were systematically separated at birth by the orphanage that they were at. this orphanage used these 3 identical boys as a social experiment, all about nature versus nurture. And the way it basically starts out is one of the brothers leaves his town to go to college in a completely different town. I'm sorry, I don't remember the details, but he goes to a college in this different town. And the moment he walks into campus, everybody is giving him high fives, saying, "Hey, what's up?" Giving him a hug. Chicks are kissing him on the cheek. He's like, "Wow, this is like the greatest experience I ever had in my life. Like, it's my first day at a new school and everybody absolutely loves me." And when he gets into his dorm and he meets his roommate does a double take. And he goes, it's basically, he asks, "Are you an orphan? Where was your orphanage?" And he tells them, and he goes, "You got to come with me." And he takes him to a phone booth and he calls who ends up being his twin brother. That was his college roommate's best friend. So his twin brother went to that college and left over the summer. And then when the summer was over and the new semester started up, his twin brother shows up and everybody thinks it's the original brother. So they do this huge news article comes out of it. They're all over the TV, and then a third brother pops up, and then that's the fun part of the story. They're all going on, like, this is back in the late 70s, early 80s, so they're on like all these talk shows, and they're living it up, and life is great. And then they start digging a little bit deeper into this orphanage, and they find out that they were all 3 separated systematically in an effort to figure out nature versus nurture, and how each of these brothers are different because of that. And it's really just how they just mind fuck these poor kids.
That sounds like monstrous behavior.
Oh, it's I'm not doing enough justice on how terrible it is and some of the things that come out of it. Definitely 100% go see. I don't know if it's released yet, like on digital or Blu-ray, but if you come across something called 3 Identical Strangers, you have to see it. It's going to change your outlook on just everything. It's so terribly messed up on how these things kind of work out.
I'm putting it on my list.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, 100%.
Yeah, you like documentaries. I know that.
Yeah. So my second documentary, and I know Luis saw this.
Oh God, yeah.
Fuck, I forgot the name of it. But it's the Mr. Rogers documentary.
Won't You Be My Neighbor? I think
I think that's what it's called. Or Won't You Be My Neighbor?
Something like that. Yeah.
So this Mr. Rogers documentary, I talked about it on the show before. I was in a theater full of people, and there wasn't a dry eye in the theater.
Oh yeah.
It takes you back to, if you grew up on PBS and like Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers, it takes you back to that time that we will never ever recoup or be able to redo again. We'll never have another Mr. Rogers on TV. Mr. Rogers came around because he was tired of children's programming being, loud, colorful cartoon nonsense. And he made it where he did this show where he actually talked to you, or felt like he was talking to you, with a lot of quiet moments, a lot of groundbreaking things happened, like Black people and white people being in a pool together, being friends together. That scene with the child in the wheelchair will melt your fucking heart.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm just getting misty. I just think about it.
Yeah.
Like it's singing, that they're singing together, and they're losing Mr. Rogers, the TV show, and the man himself once he passed.
That was rough.
It's just that whole scene there is really bad. But just knowing that we'll never have something like that again. Our children are missing out. I mean, you can still see this stuff on repeats and things like that. But right now, children's programming is basically what Mr. Rogers didn't want it to be. It's all jumbled YouTube videos and stuff like that. My third documentary. Sorry, but again,
no, it's fine.
I hope that I'm
this
taking
is what you like to watch. Don't apologize. This is what you like.
Jim and Andy and the Great Beyond. This is a documentary about Jim Carrey and him
Oh, I
filming
heard
Man
about
on the
this.
Moon.
Yeah, I
when he
heard
was
about this.
and just the crazy method acting that he underwent to portray Andy Kaufman as authentic as humanly possible, and how he would get into fights, and he would never, in that year or so, whatever it was that they filmed that movie, never once broke character.
Mm-hmm.
And how that playing that character and being in that character's mindset for so long adjusted the way he thinks and adjusted who he was, and affected his brain. Same thing a lot of people say, or everybody said, who's ever played Hunter S. Thompson. Like, once he's in your head, he can never escape. But same thing with that. Just great. This stuff is all filmed. This is live footage that they filmed behind the scenes of that movie. So this has more or less been in the makings for 20 years now. I forget how long ago Man on the Moon came out. But this is all like archival information that they didn't want to come out because they thought it would make Jim Carrey look bad or taint the entire project. And it kind of does, just because of how just chaotic and manic the whole thing is. But I hope that kind of convinces somebody out there to watch this. It's great. I think it's on Netflix. Let me see. Coco.
Oh yeah, that was a good movie.
That was a beautiful movie. That was like early. That was like the first week of January. So I'm sure a lot of people have seen Coco. That's been out on Blu-ray for a while. It's on Amazon. All that stuff. If you're talking about, we talked earlier about how Spider-Verse kind of embraced Puerto Rican culture. Coco did the same thing for Hispanic culture and Day of the Dead and family, and how tight-knit families are, probably more than any other culture when it comes down to like Hispanic cultures. And it really just plays out perfectly in this. It's beautifully animated. There's this powerful like panning shot when they're in the land of the dead with all the homes and the lights. The music in it is just incredibly touching and catchy and fun. It's great. That's one of Pixar's like best films.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I bet it would really be awesome on your 4K setup.
Oh, Coco is beautiful. The 4K for Coco is beautiful.
I'm gonna go to Luis's house just to see Coco on this TV.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's beautiful.
Yeah. I, Tonya doesn't get enough credit.
That's so good. Holy shit, I, Tonya was great.
I went there with just very little expectations. I went there because I grew up with that controversy when that was unfolding, the whole Nancy Kerrigan, Tonya Harding assault at the Olympics. So it was very nostalgic, and that was the kind of reason I went to go see it. Plus, they did this doesn't win Best Makeup. Then there's something wrong, because they made Margot Robbie really unattractive. And that has to take a lot of skills and just masterminds of makeup to do that.
Gabe, hold on. I don't mean to cut you off, but we have to acknowledge somebody in the super chat.
Oh, there's a super chat?
Yeah.
Who do we got in there? Oh, Damien Star, Free Hawkeye Omnibus in the Facebook group supporting comic books for kids.
Nice.
Do we have a link? Is there a way that Damien can shoot us a link to that post or something like that? So Damien's giving away the Hawkeye Matt Fraction Omnibus, just out of the kindness of his heart to support the comic books for kids movement, who is there to give comics to underprivileged kids, children in hospitals, just people young children who actually need some escapism, and they're doing it through comic books. We still need to figure out what we're going to do with our
Damien, if you want to, on Facebook, send me a link to your your post. I can post it in the chat.
Yeah.
Damien,
we'll post it in the description of this video too.
Okay.
Yeah. We still got to figure out what we're going to do with our variants. I don't know if you're
Yeah, they're right here. I still have to decide what we got to figure out what we're doing with these.
Yeah.
I know we were going to give one away during the 2,000 subscriber thing.
Which I'll get on soon, I promise. This has been just crazy month for me.
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't even know what day it is. I mean, we had that Jim Lee signing, and then we had Tony Daniels yesterday, and J. Scott Campbell, Adam Hughes, and Just Bragg. Not too far before that. So,
Right.
Out of control stuff. Yeah, but thank you, Damon, for that. You don't need to do super chat for that, bro. Anytime you want, just send us the link and we'll pump it up for you, bro. 100%.
Absolutely.
Okay, let me
Hi, Tanya.
Yeah, Tanya. Jeez. And okay, so I went there again for the nostalgia, the Margot Robbie makeup masterpiece that they did with that. But I came out falling in love. I forgot the actress's name, and I'm really sorry. But the woman who played Tonya Harding's mother.
Oh, Allison Janney?
Yeah, is that who it is?
I think
Dude,
so.
she stole that entire movie from everybody involved.
What a bitch.
She plays the most just fucked up mother. Just, oh my God. Like, she is like that typical, like, quote unquote, whatever, like,
Stage mother?
Stage mother, sports parent.
Hmm.
Like, that whole thing is just, it's excruciating and very cringy watching that relationship. Really, and the lady's just psycho. Like, she has a parakeet on her shoulder, just taking shits on her the whole time. And then, and she's just chain smoking like a monster. And you're like, this can't be real. Like, this is totally just Hollywood, just fabrication. But then at the end of the movie, they show actual footage of Tonya Harding's mom, and it's 100% to a T exactly how she is.
Mm.
It is nuts. But that, you need to see the movie just for that, because you know what happens. Tonya Harding gets her leg cracked.
Yeah.
Nancy Kerrigan does it.
Nancy Kerrigan, yeah. Tonya Harding, gets her
Yeah.
bodyguard or boyfriend, or I forget exactly how it worked out, but yeah. But her mother stole that movie.
I love the guy that keeps lying about his service, like he was a secret CSI.
Oh, yeah.
That guy was great.
Yeah, he's like, I created all these martial arts. The guy was just out of control. Yeah.
The thing is, you're watching this thinking, oh, this guy can't be real. No, this was the guy. Like, yeah. he really in his mind thought he was like a CIA agent, that he fought in wars, and it just crazy story.
Right. I mean, again, like, you go seeing, like, this is Hollywood fabrication. Like, this is just a room full of screenwriters and producers just making his character bigger than he is. And again, they show footage at the end of him, being interviewed, and it's exactly how he's talking, like how he's in the CIA and all these secret forces, and he's really just your stereotypical fanboy you would see at like at a Transformers convention, like some stinky fatty kind of guy. But yeah, I Tonya does not. It's not on enough list for best movie, but it's definitely on my list. One of my top movies of the year. I'm sure you guys can understand why, but it's Avengers: Infinity War.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is basically the culmination of 10 hard years, probably even longer. But 10 years of Marvel movies coming together and sticking the landing, which is really hard to do these days on these kinds of movies. I mean, you're considering like this is 10 movies or 10 years worth of movies leading up to this moment of Infinity War, and it just became a cultural phenomenon. I mean, Thanos is hated by so many people. The finger snap killing or wiping away all these beloved characters still affects people now. And people even though we know Black Panther and Spider-Man are getting another movie and stuff like that, people are still affected that Spider-Man died. Like that whole "I don't feel good, Mr. Stark" just became this cultural meme. And it's becoming so divisive as well, especially with the whole, it's Star-Lord's fault. No, it's not Star-Lord's fault. What is going on with Doctor Strange giving up the time gem? Like, there's just so much that is leading up into what we now know as Endgame. But this has been just what we want out of superhero movies. This is what it feels like to be a comic book fan, to follow crossovers and events, and having that event stick the landing, like I said, which is really hard to do in comics, nonetheless, in movies as well. Predator, we talked about that earlier. That is not my best, not my worst. It's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of peanut butter and chocolate, where it's just a bad movie. It's fun. It's great if you like just kind of B movies. Like, this is the perfect Sunday afternoon TBS film, where characters are wearing sunglasses at night, and in the next scene the glasses aren't there anymore. The last 2 minutes of the film is the biggest swerve I think I've ever seen in a movie. Where it's just you thinking something's happening, and then it just turns into, you think this movie couldn't get any more over the top, and in the last 2 minutes, this movie goes from an 11 to a 35.
This is still Predator you're talking about?
Yeah, this is Predator.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, that's definitely just it's a fun movie. Like we said, just get a couple buddies over, crack a couple cold ones, and just have fun.
Yeah, that's
it's weird because the first 5 minutes, you're like, oh wow, this seems kind of serious and legit, and it's like a war movie, and it's and soldiers, and then it turns into these aliens coming in to pick up autistic kids, because that's the next evolution of humans, and you got what's his face that played Predator, the Thomas Jane, with Tourette's, saying really inappropriate things to Olivia Munn, right in her face. Olivia Munn's in the movie for 5 minutes and never has a single line.
Is that true? She doesn't speak at all, and she's only in it for 5 minutes?
She doesn't have lines.
She's in it for 5 minutes, and they she's in these scenes, and they're talking to her, and you're expecting her to reply, and then they just cut away to something else for 5 minutes. It is crazy. Yeah, and I was watching it going is she gonna speak at all? It was noticeable. It's just one of those things where you don't notice that kind of stuff, but they made that super noticeable.
I want to see it now just for that.
Yeah, it's great. Did you put the Facebook link for
I did.
gaming? Okay, great. So that's in the chat now, everybody. Check that out. So did anybody see Blockers or Cock Blockers?
Oh, I wanted to see that. That sounded funny.
It's great. It's one of those movies that I just went to go see because it just looked like it was going to be just a fun, silly, stupid movie. Has anybody ever seen that movie Sex Drive?
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it a long time ago.
Okay, did you like it?
I thought it was okay.
Okay, this is Sex Drive, where it's just over the top, just fun, silly antics. Is John Cena beer bonging in his butthole? Yeah, it's great. It's about parents whose kids are going out to prom, and through their kids leaving their iMessage logged into their computer, they start to realize that their kids are going to have a prom sex pact, and they spend the whole night trying to prevent that from happening, and hilarity ensues. I'm gonna get a little bit serious on this next one. The Hate You Give. Anybody see this?
That sounds familiar.
It recently came out. I forget who the director is. I forget anybody who was really involved in it. But it's a movie. It's basically your Black Lives Matter come to life in a wonderfully put together film about what is culturally poisoning in ethnic people's culture. It's really, of course, it's super heavy on Black culture and police brutality and police getting away with murder, things like that. So if that's the kind of thing that triggers you, you might not want to see it. But if that's something that you've experienced or that you're interested in, definitely check it out. They do it in a non-preachy way, I feel. But again, I think you have to have an open mindset to see this. The Hate You Give is actually an acronym for Thug, THEG.
Oh wow!
Yeah, which is actually it's Thug Life, so it's Tupac related, and it's what Tupac had tattooed across his stomach. And it's really all based around that, the hate you give and how that creates more hate and how that influences the next generation and stuff like that. I mentioned it on the show before. I think it's like the opening scene is a father having to teach his children who range from I'm going to say like age 8 to an infant. Infant wasn't really being taught; it's an infant, but he's basically teaching his kids, this is how you act when you get pulled over by the police.
Yep. My brother and I have had that same conversation.
Yeah. This is how you act. This is how you speak. This is where you keep your hands at all times. It's the kind of things that most people don't have to have that sit down talk with their kids.
Yeah.
Where maybe the most awkward conversation you have to have your kids is maybe like the sex talk or the condom talk or something like that. But for a lot of ethnic families, you have to have that. It's a survival talk. This is how you make it alive through a routine traffic stop or any kind of police stop or anything like that. So super powerful, super hard hitting. Next up would be Black Klansman.
Loved it. I saw that last night.
Black Klansman. Great. It's great, dude.
So good.
It's a Spike Lee joint.
Spike Lee has stayed mad. That's what I love. Spike Lee is just, I think that man is just pissed off all the fucking time. And I think Black Klansman is his best film in a long time.
It's great. I mean, it's a true story or based on a true story of a black police officer who legitimately joins the KKK.
He gets the card and everything.
Yeah, has a card. Still has it. It's in his name. What was the clan, the KKK's name or leader's name?
David Duke.
Yeah,
David Duke.
That's played by Topher Grace, and he's just the most just shitty, scum on the bottom of your shoe kind of person. He pulls it off great, though. I mean, that guy, really give it up to him on the acting for that. But yeah, it's just how. And what's his face? What's the guy that played Kylo Ren?
Adam Driver.
Yeah, Adam Driver did a great job in that as well. It was really fun. Yeah, so if you want to see how a black man legitimately joins the KKK, go check out Black Klansman.
Yeah.
And then just because I just saw it yesterday, I'm going to give it up to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Favorite film?
Which should have just been called just Miles Morales. It's 100% a Miles Morales movie.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you that yesterday, but I was too busy at work. I was like, is this... I was worried that it might be because there's so many characters. You got Peter Parker, you got Miles, you got Spider-Gwen, you got the anime, what is it called? Spider, Peter Porker, Spider-Ham, and Spider-Man Noir. That I was worried. When you get too many characters like that, and they try to give them too much screen time, it kind of just ruins everything. But it's 100% Miles Morales. If you're a fan of that Ultimate Spider-Man run, you're in for it. I mean, it's everything you want from a Miles Morales movie. Like his uncle's in there. If you know the story about his uncle, like that's in here really hard. Again, like what Luis was saying, they embrace the Hispanic Puerto Rican culture, where his mom, sneaks in Spanish when she talks to him. He speaks it back to her. It's not subtitled. It's him getting those "Hello, my name is" stickers and tagging them up and slapping the tags all over the city. I mean, it blew up. I mean, the sneakers he wore, those Nike shoes, went on sale and they sold out in like -5 seconds for $180 a piece.
They crashed. They crashed the Foot Locker website instantly.
Yeah.
Animated movie helps sell sneakers.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because Miles wears a pair of Jordan 1s, they're Nike shoes, and they intelligently noticed that there was a lot of hype and people were asking for the shoes. Foot Locker, I think it was Friday, started selling them, and the minute they went on sale, it crashed the website.
Yeah, they were limited edition, like they were specific to Spider-Verse. Like they had some kind of like webbing on it, and it's the exact same shoes that Miles is wearing throughout the whole movie, pretty much. But yeah, no, it's great. My only gripe with it is I just think these other characters like Spider and Spider-Man Noir and Spider-Ham just didn't do anything in the movie that was worthwhile. They could have been cut out. I think I'd have been fine with it. But Miles and Spider-Gwen, 100% just I cannot wait for a sequel or like a TV series. I want more. I love Miles Morales. Love that character for the longest time. It's great. Again, you see all these comic book throwbacks. The names and the contacts are awesome. The Stan Lee cameo is really sweet and touching. They didn't make it that way because this is obviously all done probably in a can before he passed this year. The animation is great. I don't know. I really don't know what else to say about it. I saw it in Dolby Cinema last night, which is really cool. But yeah, definitely Spider-Verse. Don't go see anything else this weekend. Go see Spider-Verse.
They've already greenlit a sequel for Spider-Verse, and they're doing a spinoff, an all-girls Spider-Man spinoff movie.
Cool.
With like Gwen Stacy, Silk, and like the female Spider-Verse people.
If it's done in the same way, I think this movie was done by the guys that did Clone High. I don't know if anybody remembers Clone High.
Yeah,
so I saw somewhere where they were the ones that did it. And there's like some Clone High references in the background and stuff like that. But it's real, I mean, like the city it's like Marvel Comics where the city is a character. Like New York plays a big part in this. It feels like you're a part of that environment. It's great. I mean, there's really not much more to really say about it. I want to go see it again. I'll probably go see it again tomorrow.
My big gripe with this is that they released this at a horrible time. Because this could have made so much more money had they dropped this maybe during like January or February or something like that, where there's not really much else going on. But why?
There's a lot of competition ahead of this movie for sure.
Right. Why drop this a week before Transformers, Aquaman, and the dark reboot of Mary Poppins Returns? It makes absolutely no sense to me why they would do this, considering there's so much else to go see. Because it's gonna hinder each of these films is gonna eat each other alive at the box office. They're just gonna cut into everybody else into their own profit. So I think personally this should have been a February release and they would have cleaned up.
Yeah, I mean I guess they're just trying to make it like a holiday thing, but this is a tough time where you're gonna have to make decisions on what you want to see.
Yeah.
And I mean, unless you got like, AMC, A-List or Movie Pass or something like that, like you're gonna have to make some serious decisions on what to watch. I think that's it. That's really all I have to say for my best movies. Worst movies. I'm not gonna give it any time. Pacific Rim.
That was disappointing. Yeah, that was disappointing.
And this just didn't really do it for me. A lot of people love it. Just wasn't my thing. Annihilation.
I didn't get to see that yet.
Oh, you didn't like Annihilation? Wow, I love it.
It was just not what I was looking for when I meant to go see it. It's a little too quiet. It's weird and freaky, but you really kind of towards the end, like the third act, they do that third act fucking swerve on you where you're like, is this real or what was real? Is this really just them being poisoned by the environment? That whole thing. Was that really her husband? Which one was her husband? Is this it's that whole thing that just like I hate it when things are left ambiguously open. Maybe I'm not intelligent enough to like appreciate that kind of stuff, but I want like a complete story. I don't mind my hand being held and being like, oh, here's how this really works out and stuff like that. And that's it for movies.
You have a question there, Lou. Do you want to address it from Luis Castillo?
Yeah, I'm new here and was just wondering if Comics Guide 101 is making a comeback, or is the channel the main focus for now? For right now, this is the main focus, especially since I may be starting a new job. I have my final interview on Tuesday.
Good luck, man. Get that drug test, man. Once you get that drug test, you're in. That's a fact.
I've had to go through like 6 interviews at this point. This will be my final one on Tuesday.
6?
You're in, dude. You have to be in after 6.
Dude, they said they've had 40 or 50 applicants for this position, so I believe it. So my final interview is tomorrow. I'm meeting with like the top person. That's going to be my focus, just kind of getting used to that because it's a whole new field that I'm not used to. I'm getting out of teaching if I get this job. So for the meantime, that's going to be this channel, and starting my new job is going to be my main focus. But I do plan on coming back eventually to do more videos. Dark Samurai, yes, very much so. Light is an understatement.
Light for right now.
Yeah, well, I can't right now.
Right.
Yeah, hey, get this job, man. It's gonna be Bone Thugs and Harmony for you.
Oh, dude, it's been since July.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jess, did you give your movies list? We got to move on. Man, we're going long on this one.
Yeah, we are going long. No, I just didn't see as many movies as you. I saw a bunch of. I mean, also saw Black Panther. I forgot to list that, which I loved. But I really only probably saw 5 or 6 movies this year in the movie theater. So I think you guys saw way many movies than I did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude, I took full advantage of that movie pass last year.
So same.
I had Black Panther on my list, but once I started going off these other movies I had on here, I just really I liked Black Panther a lot, but there's just so much more that I think just resonated more with me. It's a great movie, like a part of that, Marvel pantheon of films. And I know it became this great cultural phenomenon. I love it. It's great, but I just think things like Jim and Andy and 3 Identical Strangers is just way more of a films that people should watch right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Definitely 100%. I'm telling you, go see 3 Identical Twins.
It's on my list.
Just fuck yourself up on it, man. Seriously.
Okay. What do you guys say? We move on to TV?
Let's go to TV.
Alrighty, Jess, you've seen quite a bit of TV this year.
Yeah, I didn't watch I didn't watch any bad TV. I saw, well, unfortunately, wait, Stranger Things. That was this Halloween, right? Or was it last year?
I swore it was this year. I don't think it came out on Halloween. I thought it came out like.
Could it come out in 2017? Okay, I just saw it this year.
Let me double check.
I think you're right. Well, so I've been watching Legion and Maniac, and I loved both of those. And I also saw Castlevania, both seasons, which was great.
Yeah.
Let's see. I still like Modern Family. I'm still watching that.
That's still a good show.
Yeah. TV.
It's weird watching shows like that and watching these kids grow up on TV. Like, it's just, I mean, there's a lot of movies or a lot of TV shows throughout the generation that's done that. Like, I'm sorry, like Cosby Show, Married with Children. Like, there's a lot of shows where you see kids grow up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just odd just watching. You go, man, he was a little kid, and then you watch like season 1, it's like totally different children and stuff, or age wise.
Oh yeah, Swati is saying this year was Sabrina and Haunting of Hill House, which both of those I need to see. You really loved Haunting of Hill House, right, Lou?
Yeah, it's on my list.
Yeah. So yeah, those are the TV shows I watched this year that I really liked. I didn't watch any TV that I didn't like. I watched a lot of sports, so I watched a lot of sports on TV. Some of that I didn't like. Let's see. So yeah, I have I want to see Tidelands. That's got mermaids and murder in it. So I downloaded that. I need to watch that. But I need to. Yeah, I think that's about it for me for TV that I watched. I really liked Maniac on Netflix a lot.
Who wants to go next? Gabe?
I gotta go get my charger, so I'll be right back.
Yeah, man.
I'm running out of juice.
Same with Jess. I don't have a lot of bad TV because once I'm like watching something I don't like it, I just stop.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so. But again, this is just a list I threw together. There's no ranking. There's no 1 through 10 or anything like that. The Last OG. It's TBS, and it is shit, man. I forgot his
Is that
name.
Tracy
already.
Morgan?
Tracy Morgan, exactly. Yes, thank you. It's Tracy Morgan on a TV show where he got pinched for selling crack and spent 15 years in prison. Flash forward to the end of that 15 years, and he gets out of prison, and he goes to Brooklyn back home, and everything is different. His Brooklyn is no longer there. It's very hipster and an up and coming neighborhood where it's all these like fancy schmancy coffee shops and hipsters and people who don't wear their beanies on their head all the way and take pictures of their dogs and stuff like that.
It's become gentrified.
Exactly. But yeah, it's great. It's Tracy Morgan being Tracy Morgan. If you liked him on 30 Rock, he's not that Tracy Morgan-esque, but he still just has these crazy one-liners and just great humor. It's just a fun show. It's on Hulu right now, so you can definitely check it out and watch that. It's really, again, it's just one of those things where they don't touch on it so much, but it's there of somebody whose life has been changed so much to prison life and then being released in the real world and how you have to adapt and readjust your lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
That's not so much there, but that is something that's there. I've known a lot of people that had to go through that kind of stuff. We had to learn how to eat in a public setting the correct way. Cell phones and social media and just all that kind of stuff. It's very much like Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Unsolved, the murders of Tupac and Notorious B.I.G.
How was that? I wanted to see that.
It's really, really good. It's in the same kind of vein as the O.J. Simpson docu-series, whatever you want to call it. Of course, you never get an explanation of who actually killed Biggie and Tupac. It's a lot of half evidence building up to other. They're connecting dots that don't really connect sometimes, and they leave a lot of things ambiguous, and you kind of get your own thing. Which, like I said, I don't like, but this is real life, and nobody knows. These cases have never been truly solved on the murders of Tupac and Biggie. But that's excellent. I love that kind of stuff. I love that music. I love that East Coast, West Coast kind of snapshot of time in the hip hop industry. So it was really touching. And I mean, it's things like Tupac is still so relevant today. Like I said earlier, The Hate You Give is all based on a Tupac lyric. So, and it goes like Biggie stepping back into Spider-Verse. Miles Morales is listening to Biggie, a lot of times throughout that movie. So he still is relevant to today. So it's awesome. We spoke about it for a second, but Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. This was a happy accident for me. I wasn't into it. I didn't have any kind of real intentions of watching it. I think my wife popped it on, and I was engrossed immediately. It's great. It's fun. It's spooky. It's a fun spooky kind of thing, but it's not kiddie at all. Don't let it fool you that it's an Archie comic or based on Archie comic characters. But it's great. I forget how many episodes it is, but it goes through a lot about a young girl becoming a woman in basically in a witch's cult or a witch's society, and her becoming a witch and a part of giving herself up to the devil. What else? Oh, all right. I'm not just looking at my list. I scrolled down and I saw this. I have to talk about this. It's a Netflix premium show, Cobra Kai.
I wanted to see that.
Dude, you're missing out. It is so good. It is basically, this is Karate Kid part, 15? I don't know how many Karate Kid movies they made, but this is basically a 100% direct sequel to, I would have to say, Karate Kid 3. I think Karate Kid 3 was the last real Karate Kid movie with Daniel LaRusso and Mr. Miyagi and all that kind of stuff.
Well, everybody knows Danielson's the bad guy in the series.
Dude, they really show it up on here. Yeah, that was an illegal kick. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's not just that. But it just shows. It reminds me a lot of Creed 2 and the Drago side of things, where one loss in your career just kind of destroys your life, or you let it destroy your life, and that's what happened to Johnny, where that karate tournament. Yeah, he let that karate tournament take over his life, because that's all he was back then. He was the cool stud, popular guy in high school that had the badass T-Bird that he's still driving now, and it's all just a piece of shit. And it's Daniel LaRusso, who has grown up to be a successful car dealership salesman, or he owns a couple car dealerships. And it's just one of those things, you're just kind of letting go what you lost, but coming back from it and not letting it really change who you are, where your past has defined who you are, kind of thing. It's a great story arc for Johnny. You really fall. This guy's a fucking total asshole douchebag, but you kind of want to be his friend. You kind of want to give him a hug.
Johnny got fucked over in that movie. That's all.
Well, not just that, but then at the end of that movie, it wasn't just a defeat by Daniel's son, but just a pure shame and humiliation, and him getting his back turned by his sensei at the time, also, which they really show in here, and you go, oh man, that's kind of what broke him right there. It was not really the loss, but it's just really the after effect of him just being turned away by what he basically was his family at the time. Selfie. You guys watch Selfie on TV right now?
No, I've never heard of that.
No, it's what's her name? The girl that plays Nebula.
Oh, she's
Karen
good.
Gillan?
Yeah. There you go, Karen Gillan. She's in it, and I'm really bad with names. I'm sorry. Homeboy from Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle.
Which one?
The Asian cat.
Oh, John Cho, I think.
Yeah, so it's them, and it's about how social media shouldn't play who you are. Like, just because you have 50,000 followers doesn't mean that you're a good person or that you have a happy life. Oh, and how women in the workplace and their quote unquote place and how they should act in the workplace plays a big part. Somebody coming up from being like a nerdy outcast to like the new hot beautiful girl, and how life is different because of that kind of stuff. It's fun. It's a really good show. One of my favorite shows of all time is Riverdale, and the last season was fantastic. I loved it from beginning to end.
You and Tyler.
Dude, that show's great. Like,
Tyler will go to bat for that show so much.
I'm in there with him, dude, because it's really well done. It's great. It's the Archie gang, but 2018 issues.
The only thing I love the kids in that, and I love how different and interesting the kids are in that, but I hate the parents. They're all so double dealing and self-serving and backstabbing. There's not a decent parent in the bunch, except for Archie's dad, I guess. But everybody else,
he's too good for his own good, though.
Yeah,
a lot of times.
But all those other parents are just such
horrible.
Yeah, they're such horrible people that it's pushed me out of the show.
Oh, really?
I do love Veronica, but other than that, I mean, and Miss Grundy, of course, she was great.
Yeah. No, but yeah, Veronica's parents, like, they screw her over so many times.
Same with Betty's.
Yeah, Jesus. Not just that, but I feel really bad for Jughead because of his dad.
Yeah, Jughead's dad's awful. Yeah. Josie's mom is evil.
Yep. Kevin's dad, the sheriff, him too. It's just, but there's a lot of like current topics in there, like you have Kevin Keller, who was the first gay character in Archie comics, and he's in the show. It's really, it's just, I can't explain how much I love this show. It's really well done. If you haven't seen Riverdale, just give it a shot. I think people are really missing out. The Blossoms are terrible people.
Oh yeah,
and you start seeing that really come affecting like Cheryl Blossom a lot. But yeah, next up is Castlevania.
Yes.
Just talked about those 2 seasons of Castlevania are some of the best things I've ever seen on Netflix. I'm glad that if you haven't seen it now, you have the chance of seeing both seasons back to back, because that first season really ends on a terrible cliffhanger.
Yeah, it does.
God, it's the worst cliffhanger, man. Worst meaning like it really was just blue ball, and you had to wait basically 2 years to get any kind of like gratification out of that.
Yep.
The Good Doctor. Has anybody heard of The Good Doctor?
Mm-mm.
The Good Doctor is about a young man with autism who is it's basically like Scrubs, where he's like an entry-level doctor. And the show really touches a lot on a lot of the unawareness the world has on people with autism, and how that autism that this man has really helps him become a great doctor. But certain things, because of the autism, makes it hard for him to be, communication-wise, social-wise, admitting that he's wrong, character or people interactions and stuff like that, and a lot of the negative connotations and stereotypes that people have towards people with autism is really well done and spotlighted well in this show. It's not all about that though. There's other interesting characters, but the main topic really is it's this young man with autism and him trying to be a doctor and the obstacles outside of his condition that he faces because of his condition. If that makes sense. Yeah. So that's my favorite top of the list stuff.
I forgot one of mine. Oh, you wanted to do worst?
Yeah, I'll just knock it out real fast. Roseanne. That's garbage. Especially now that she's gone. I don't know why they're still trying to keep it around as the Connors. Walking Dead should have ended like 10,000 years ago. And House of Cards should have ended a long time ago also. And they just I think it's gone now, but that thing was just dead fruit on the branch for a long time.
What a good way to put it. Dead fruit on the branch. I forgot to name my total favorite. I don't know how I forgot this, but my favorite show of the year, which is also my favorite Star Trek of all time, Star Trek Discovery. Jimmy Owens was nice enough to help me watch that. And I love Star Trek Discovery. It was so interesting and so well done. So well done. It's the best Star Trek. Okay, wait. I'm going to take that back because everybody argues when they say best Star Trek. It's my favorite Star Trek. You can't argue with that because it's my favorite. So, yeah, I love Star Trek Discovery. And I didn't have a worst of. I just didn't watch any bad TV.
Well, that's what I was saying earlier when you left is if I see an episode or two that I don't like, I'm not going to stick with it.
Yeah.
It's really it's easy to watch bad movies. It's really hard to watch bad TV because you can easily just go, fuck this and just change it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is why I've never seen anything past I think episode 3 of Gotham.
I watched the whole first season of that and I liked it.
But then you saw through it, Jess.
The first season I enjoyed, but the second season just got off to a really weird start, and I said, I think I'm done.
I thought I was gonna give it a shot, and then I heard, they did the Joker has a secret twin brother bit, and I was like, nope, fuck you, I'm not doing that.
Dude, that pilot episode, everybody was just chewing up the scenery. Everybody was acting on a level 15. Which I guess people said you had to do it because that's the pilot. That's how you kind of get things kind of going. But Jada Pinkett Smith, I don't think she's ever delivered one line where her teeth weren't gritted. The Penguin character is really interesting. I like how things kind of played out for him in that first season. Like I guess I think I probably saw the first half, but I just kind of just lost. It's one of those things where they just shoehorn in like the Riddler, they shoehorn in all these characters. You know, just his name is Edward Nygma. I know who he is. I know what this is going to come out. I don't even care. You know. And John Cassell in the chat, he says, "What this season of Walking Dead's been good." Cool, man. Good. I'm glad you like it. Interesting. But once they started killing off all these characters, like Rick, spoilers. But then they announced that they're doing a bunch of Rick spin-off movies. Forget that noise. I'm done. You know, I was done a while ago, but just knowing that they're still just dragging out this dead animal up to the starting line and trying to make it run again is just it's over. The comic should be over too. The show should be over. Let it just be the cultural phenomenon that it is, and it'll just be just a great memory for people. And it's when it ends, it's gonna be a sad ending. It's like watching a sports athlete on his last 4 seasons that he ran too long on. You know, when he should have retired like 4 years ago. It's like seeing Michael Jordan try and play baseball.
Okay, my top 5. I'm gonna start off with number 5, Atlanta, Donald Glover's project. Atlanta is awesome. It's brilliant. It's hilarious, and the Teddy Perkins episode this past year was fantastic. If you haven't seen Atlanta, it gets really weird. Each episode is pretty much its own self-contained episode. They have little connecting dots in between episodes, but after coming back from season 1, coming back to season 2, I was kind of expecting maybe like a sophomore slump and all that other stuff. Not at all. Atlanta comes back stronger than it was, and it's weirder, like really weird. The further along you go, it gets even weirder. I dig this a lot, and I highly recommend anybody out there check this out if you haven't. Atlanta basically is the premise of Donald Glover's character, who he lives in Atlanta, Georgia. He's kind of going nowhere in life, and he basically becomes the manager of his, I think it's cousin, who his cousin's on the come up in the music industry because he's got a hit song out called Paperboy. And it very much shows a slice of life of what it's like to live in Atlanta, but it goes just in so many weird places, and it gets trippy, and I love Atlanta. It's such a fun series, and I recommend everybody check it out. Number 4, I'm going to go through this pretty quick. Castlevania. Everybody's talking about Castlevania. This really is one of the best Netflix shows out there. I had the added benefit of watching season 1, and season 2 was already out. So I didn't have to get blue balls like Gabe and have to wait like a year and a half for the second season. Warren Ellis actually works on this. He's one of the head writers, and it shows. The writing is great. It's the best video game property that's probably been ever done. It's true to the series, and they add stuff to it. Castlevania is just beautiful. The animation in it is beautiful, and I really, really think everybody should give this a shot. It's short. The first season is only like 4 or 5 episodes, and they're 20 minutes each, 25 minutes. Second season is like 8 episodes. Second season is even better than the first season, and I can't get enough of Castlevania. I want more of it, and I want more seasons, and I want them now.
Right.
I need more Castlevania in my life.
I think they announced a 3rd season in the works.
Oh yeah, no. This thing is a hit for them. It's a real big hit for these guys, and I am so happy it is. And it's getting recognition. I love this. I could watch hours and hours of this series, and it's just so great. Number 3, this is something recently that my girl kind of turned me on to. A Good Place. A Good Place is on Netflix, and the basic premise is that this group of people, they have died.
Oh, yeah, I want to know about this.
Dude, it's hilarious. It's such a fucking great show.
That's with Kristen Bell and Ted Danson?
Yeah.
They're in heaven, right?
Except yeah. No, well, that's part of it. Yeah, A Good Place. These people die, and the whole bit about this show is that they are horrible people, And when they get to where they're getting, they think they're in heaven. Turns out they're actually in hell. And the whole premise behind the show is that Ted Danson plays this demon, and he's trying to figure out a way of torturing them by making them think that they're in heaven. He's trying new torture techniques because he wants to get Demon of the Century award or something like that. It is fucking brilliant. The writing on this is so good. It's hilarious. It's such a great damn show. You guys owe it to yourself to all see The Good Place. It is my favorite show, my favorite comedy of the year. It's such a great show.
Sounds like my wife will like it too.
Dude, you guys sit down tonight and watch a few episodes of it. It is hilarious. Like, they can't curse on the show because they're in hell and they're in the afterlife and they can't really curse. So instead of saying what the fuck, they say what the fork all the time. It's such a great show. Ted Danson is fantastic in this show, and they get really weird with it. It's oh my god, I love The Good Place. We binged the first 2 seasons in probably like 3 days.
Okay, good. We'll start watching it probably tomorrow.
You guys, you will love it, Jess. You will dig the hell out of this. It's such a fun show.
I really want to see it.
My next pick, my number 2 pick is, I finished this the other day, A Haunting on Hill House. Brilliant show. I love The Haunting on Hill House. It's 10 episodes, an hour long each. It's on Netflix. Basic premise is that this family who grew up in this haunted house, I'm trying to be kind of vague about it, their sister has committed suicide. And they are now dealing with the fallout of that, and they discover that the house has a lot to play into what happened with their sister. It's a great show with great writing. 10 episodes, and they fly by really quick. It picks up, starts off a bit slow, but it does pick up as it goes along. Episode 5 has a twist in it that I didn't see coming. Episode 6 is brilliantly done because it has episode 6 is basically a long series of tracking shots. It'll go 5 minutes without cutting, and it's one of the best shows this year. Believe the hype. It has an ending that is surprisingly a bit bittersweet, and it's a new take. I personally haven't seen a take on like what happens with haunted houses and death and things like this. I haven't seen a take on this ever. But I loved A Haunting on Hill House. It's such a great series. It's definitely worth your watch, Jess. I want to see it. You will definitely like this. This is up your alley. All the characters are well written. You get a feel for all of them. Each one has an arc inside of it. It's very emotional. It's very powerful. I loved A Haunting on Hill House, and I can't recommend this one enough. My number 1 choice for TV this year, would it be, since Game of Thrones isn't back this year, shouldn't come to any surprise to anybody because it was my number 1 choice last year, Handmaid's Tale. Handmaid's Tale continued after season 1, and it just got better and better in season 2. Premise of Handmaid's Tale is basically what would happen if Mike Pence got his wish.
I don't know what that means. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Handmaid's
Tale. Wall? Is it a wall?
Might as well be. Handmaid's Tale is centered around the premise of, it's based off of an old book. What would happen if, I forgot what the percent was, but basically like 90% of the women became sterile. They could not have kids. And what would happen to the women that can have kids, and basically how the world would change and how a religious group rises up into power. And it's a brilliant, brilliant TV show. I love Handmaid's Tale. And if you are a fan if you are somebody that liked Y: The Last Man, it's kind of got a similar vibe to it in a little bit, but it centers around this woman who is a handmaid. And in this universe, handmaids are women that they are able to have children, so they're seen as more valuable, but they are also kind of sold off to these rich families, and they are treated horribly. horribly, and it follows her memoir of what it's like living in this type of society and how she's trying to escape it, and how really a lot of this is happening in the United States, and Canada is actually a sanctuary for a lot of people. Look, they don't bury the political message in this very deep. If you are somebody that gets easily offended by politics, or you are somebody that is, for lack of a, if you are somebody that is very much a pro men's movement person, whatever the hell that means, this is not a show for you. You're not gonna like this. I love Handmaid's Tale. It's each episode got better and better than the more it went along, and season 2 easily trumps season 1. It's my favorite show this year.
Okay. It's getting late. Do you want to do video games and comics next week?
We can do that.
Because it's already like 1:45. We can try and do. Why don't we? I bet in an hour and 45 minutes we could do video games and comics next week too.
I thought we were going to say comics for the Omnis, but we could do video games next week.
Yeah. Okay. I bet we could fill an hour with best of video games.
Okay.
That's one thing all three of us did this year.
Not really.
You played Spider-Man though, didn't you?
Spoilers. Spider-Man is my favorite game of the year, and the PlayStation Mini is shit.
Oh, well then.
That's it. That's all I have to say. I haven't played many video games this year. Honestly, I think all I really played was Spider-Man. And the little phone mobile game I've been playing for like the last 2 years.
Okay. Speaking of Spider-Man, if you want to get Spider-Man comics, collected editions, you can get them on InStockTrades.com, where you can get your collected editions up to 50% off. Loyalty discounts add 2% to that. This weekend, ending tomorrow, Monday, InStock Trades has extra 3% on things. It does not stack with your 2%, but it's an extra 3% off on Marvel and DC. Over $50 in an order gets you free shipping in the United States. Don't know how they do that. And fabulous service and fabulous packaging. That's InStockTrades.com. For the Omnis, is that something? Are we gonna take a poll in the group and see what people vote on, or are we just gonna say what our opinions are?
I would think it'd be easier just for our opinions, right?
Yeah.
Because we don't have it set up. Gabe, like 2 years ago, was the one that set it up to have everybody vote and stuff like that. But
right.
Yeah, because I used to keep a list of everything that came out, and I didn't do it this year because I wasn't sure if we were going to do this again.
Yeah,
I mean, unless we go back through all of our emails and get all of the InStock Trades Excel files they would send us.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know if too late in the game already. We still got to try and do that 2K thing.
Yeah. That requires...
I might be able to do it if I pawn off the 2K thing on Geo, because he asked if I needed help with that. There's just a lot going on right now at the end of the year for this show. Like the 2K is going to have to happen soon. The Omnis are going to happen. So I don't know if we want to extend ourselves even more by trying to make a poll,
right?
Or like a Survey Monkey kind of thing, like I did that one time.
Okay, let's just
without having all the information already ready and set up to go now.
Okay,
yeah, we'll just give our opinions.
Yeah, I think it'll just be easier if we do our opinions.
And then you know what, we could probably just do a challenge and let other request or challenge other people to do a YouTube video of what their favorite is and tag us on it or something like that too. That might be fun.
I mean, looking at this, we're also going to have more people on the Omnis. We might have to split the Omnis into 2 episodes.
Oh, I bet you're right.
Because this is only
narrow down the categories yet. Do we know what we're actually going to?
I am working on it.
Okay.
Yeah, because we just did 2 categories today, and we went 2 hours. The Omnis is like best writer, best artist, best collected edition, best.
Right, but I mean, I think if we'll talk about this more, but I think if we just stick to 1 or 2 choices and not like 12 or 10 like we did today, we could probably burn through it pretty quick.
Yeah.
As opposed to us having to talk about, here's my top 10, which is great for something like this when it's just the three of us. It did take a little bit of time, but that's great because I want to hang out with you guys as much as possible. But for the Omnis, maybe we just leave it to best of in our one pick and maybe runner up or honorable mention.
Well, let's
I don't think personally that we'll be able to do the Omnis in one episode. I think it's going to be a multi-part. It's going to be at least 2.
And I think, and it also include Riley's and Omar's picks, and maybe Geo's if he gets internet in time. Yeah. So maybe we can just give our favorite comics of the year, and just keep it limited to 3 a person or something for next week for the 3 of us. And then we can talk about all the video games we played.
Yeah, I think
that could fill an hour.
Or we could, I don't know, we're just talking out loud. Maybe we can mix the 2K in with the Omnis, where we could give out the prizes during the Omnis.
I like that.
As well.
I don't see why we couldn't do that.
Okay.
Not, knock 2 birds out in one stone kind of thing.
I like that. I think, hello?
I'm here.
What?
Oh, okay, I thought we lost Gabe. I think we do best, the best writer, best overall book, our overall book, the second episode. And we split some of the smaller categories, like best limited series or whatever, on the first episode of the Omnis.
Let's do the best and the worst.
Let me get a charger.
I'm going to do best and the worst just so I can vote the Miles Morales Omnibus as the worst thing to get released this year.
Because of how it was constructed?
Yeah, because the binding is shit.
You still haven't got any good copies in for your store?
We stopped. After 5 copies or so, we just stopped. I mean, we still have them. Diamond haven't asked for them back, so they're ours. So I might just see if I can just buy one for dirt cheap and just, get some of that PVA glue and Frankenstein it back together or something.
Right. Okay, so since we're spitballing here, what are we gonna do next week then? Video games and what?
Just Q&A, I guess.
Okay, so no comics next weekend?
No, we'll save the comics
for the Omnis.
Save it for the Omnis.
Okay, so we'll talk video games and your questions. So the Omnis will be not next week, but the week after then.
It'll have to be after Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah. Just to give, maybe there's a hidden gem that pops up in the next week or 2.
Yeah, well, I know Super Sons is coming out Tuesday,
right.
So that's why we need to wait for that.
And speaking of hidden gems, the Gem Mint crossover is happening on Thursday.
Is that a thing?
I think it might be a thing.
I think that's legit. I think there's going to be a legit YouTube throwdown here on Omnibus Network.
Right.
Because he called out Omar on the Facebook group.
Right. Yeah, so that's this Thursday, the Gem Mint crossover.
Yep. I won't be here. I'll be at work, unfortunately. But yeah.
Okay. Well, we talked about movies. We talked about TV. We're going to get to video games next week. And then after that, we'll get to comics before the end of the year. Or it might be January when we actually do it. Let's see what the calendar looks like. Today's the 16th, so the 23rd. Okay, so the 30th and 31st, we could make the Omnis. A Sunday and Monday?
Wait, you said the 30th and 31st?
Yeah. Of December. That's a Sunday and Monday. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there.
I know. I'm just saying New Year's Eve is my anniversary.
Oh, okay. Well, then never mind. We'll work it out.
I mean, we can still. I don't know. I probably might want. Let's just get fucking hammered on the show on New Year's Eve and do this.
I thought you just said New Year's Eve. Well, I actually have something I can take. I could take extra of it and get messed up.
There you go. Well, we could do the show. No, I don't know. Honestly, my wife and I don't have any plans. It's really hard to do a lot of things in Vegas on New Year's Eve.
Oh,
not really, but I mean, we did it. We do it before. We go to last year. We went to Fremont, but then you kind of get locked in because they shut down the freeways and they shut down the strip and stuff like that. So it's hard to get out. But it's not till later. But again, that's New Year's Eve. So I don't know how many people are going to be watching us either.
That's a good point. And my wife and daughter may want to do something New Year's Eve. That is a really good point. Okay, so let's just say we're still figuring out when we're going to do best comics.
Sean, you didn't miss all the movies talk. Just rewatch this later, bro. Much love, homie. This is my boy Negro Orlando in the chat.
Negro Lando? Who's that?
Sean. I know Sean.
Oh.
Good
Oh
guy.
wait, I know that name.
Yeah,
He shows up every once in a while in the chat.
Yeah.
he's one of my closest, bestest friends. Like we went to high school together and everything.
Oh, okay. Cool.
But he lives out there in Orlando with Luis now. The first time I met him, he asked me for lotion.
What?
Yeah. So just real quick, it's kind of a funny story. If you can't tell by the name, he's black. And our PE in high school, it was like one of those like our final exam for PE is like this crazy like obstacle course, like bullshit thing they make you do. And at the end of it, we had to swim a couple laps in the pool. And poor Sean, and a lot of people like Sean, the chlorine in the pool makes you super ashy. So the first time I ever met him, he randomly came up to me and asked if I had any lotion. And we became best friends after that.
It's a hell of a way to break a friendship.
Yeah, seriously. We bonded over lotion. That sounds gross. That didn't come out the right way.
Yeah, whoa. Okay, so it's up in the air when we're going to do comics. We'll wrestle it out in our chat throughout the week. But we will definitely do video games next Sunday. And that's probably it.
Because you still got to figure out Omar and Ryley's schedule. Omar's pretty good about things, but Ryley gets called away a lot on things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like maybe. Well, we don't have to do it in 2018. It's the best of 2018, so we could do it the first Monday in January.
That sounds like a good idea.
That might be better for us to do, which is like January 7th. That's a Monday.
Do we want to do it Sunday, Monday, since it's 2 episodes?
Yeah, we might want to talk about that.
Because I don't know if we want to do like split up into 2 weeks. That's kind of asking a lot.
Sunday, Monday would probably be the best. Do it Sunday morning, Monday night.
Yeah. Good. Okay, we'll work on that. And so now you've got your behind the scenes stuff from us. This is how we work. We just bat it back and forth until we get tired of it and somebody makes a decision.
We fly by the seat of our pants.
Yeah. This has been complete behind the scenes. Shows you just how much we don't want to make a decision.
Or how we make decisions.
Yeah.
Which is not really making decisions.
Right.
It's the comics for kids variant.
Right. Gosh darn it. We got to do something with these.
Hey, Jess, t-shirt, right? You threw something up about money.
Oh yeah, I'll
Okay.
put it back in the chat, and I'll put it back in the chat, and you just need to give me your address, and I'll send you the T-shirt.
Is there money involved?
There is money involved, but it's not
Okay.
much.
No, I know. I'll talk to you about that in the chat, though.
Okay. So we're working on a 2-hour show, and probably time for us to end it now in the fashion that we do, which is we say, Gabe, where can they find you on the internet?
Gabe Infinity Watch everywhere, YouTube, Instagram. Don't follow me on Facebook, but you can
Don't
find
ask
me
to be friends.
in the Omnibus Collectors Facebook group. Just don't add me as a friend. It's not going to happen. Delete.
How about you, Louise?
You can find me at Comics Guide 101 on Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff.
And you can find me, Omnidog, on Omnidog's Vault, and Instagram, Omnidogs_Vault. I should be doing my own Best of 2018 here this week once Super Sons is released, because that's going to be on my list. That's such a fun book. Okay, Jesse Saywat says, thanks for the behind-the-scenes footage. You're welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Please hit the like button. please subscribe if you haven't already to our channel. And thank you very much. Peace and love. Peace and love.
Hey, have a good night, everybody.
Smoke crack.